Labubu is having a moment across the world. This pointy-eared, sharp-toothed doll, wrapped in a cozy fleece onesie with a mischievous grin, has gone viral. Look at some facts. It's omnipresent, spotted on Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, Dua Lipa, Blackpink's Lisa, and many more. Rare Labubus sell for 100 times the retail price. A 4-foot-tall Labubu sold for $172,000, more than some luxury cars. There are lines at the official stores, and there is a pretty good chance that you can find Labubu on your street, in a store where you don't really expect to. The world is clearly going crazy. So as a business owner, I got interested. What made Labubu such an outlier? They clearly did something right. So what was it, and what business and marketing lessons this story reveals? To unravel this mystery, we must dive into 3 key perspectives of the story: the journey of Labubu's creator Kasing Lung, the rise of Pop Mart, and the origin of Labubu doll. You'll also join me in my crazy adventure as I hunt for a real Labubu in not 1, but 2 different countries. Will I find it? Watch to find out. But everything in due time. We'll start researching the Labubu phenomenon from its creator. So let's travel back to 1972 when this story began. Kasing Lung was born in Hong Kong in 1972. When Lung was 7 years old, his family packed up and moved to the Netherlands. And for a kid, that was exciting, but also overwhelming. He didn't know a single word of Dutch, and Dutch is a very difficult language, so adjusting to life in his new home was tough. Luckily, his teacher had a clever idea. She handed him picture books to help him learn the language. And guess what? Those books didn't just teach him Dutch, they sparked his love for drawing and storytelling. He spent a lot of time alone back then, tucked away in the attic above his parents' restaurant. While the world buzzed downstairs, Lung's vivid imagination was bringing to life some fascinating stories about Nordic folklore and mischievous elves. He loved this story so much, he decided to become a designer of children's books. And if you think about it as a profession, in so many ways, it's crazy, right? What are the odds of making it as a children's book illustrator? But for Lung, it was different. He later admitted, "As a child, I enjoyed reading storybooks and was influenced by Asian European fairy tales. In those days, without video games or computers, I could only draw characters with a pen. So I've had the idea of painting fairy tales since I was young." Fast forward a few decades, Lung won Belgium's Illustration Award. He published beautifully crafted works like My Little Planet and teamed up with others on projects like Les Vil Danse. A sweet little story about a rabbit who dreams of joining dance classes, even though they're run exclusively for cats. And here's the turning point in his career. In 2015, Lung designed another children's book, the Monster series. The plot revolves around 9 creatures in a fairy tale world. And that's when Labubu was born. Back then, Labubu was introduced as a mischievous, pox-like or cat-like creature with prominent sharp teeth. These broad shapes and exaggerated features were supposed to convey emotion on paper. The term monsters is ironic. Labubu and other characters are mischievous but kind-hearted and not monsters at all, according to Lung. His heritage gave him an amazing ability to connect Eastern and Western folklore in ways you don't often see. On the one hand, these characters resemble Yao Gai spirits of Chinese folklore that embody both light and dark traits. They're kind-hearted, but their well-intentions often backfire. On the other hand, Labubu is a Nordic elf, with those pointy ears and fluffy body. Also, Lung uses Nordic-style storytelling with episodic adventures in magical forests. The first book of the series saw the light in 2015. It's difficult to determine if there were specific expectations for this book, but it's clear that no one anticipated it becoming a worldwide sensation. So what happened when it was released? Well, almost nothing. His established fan base enjoyed the book, and not a lot was going on there until a Hong Kong's toy company, How to Work, decided to release a limited edition art toy series, which included Labubu. Collectors loved them, but the mainstream audiences weren't quite there yet, and I'll let you decide why. Here's what these hand-painted vinyl Labubu dolls looked like. From 2015 till 2019, it has been a small-scale art toy project, and this might have been the story's end. Everything changed in 2019. Producing this video actually took several weeks, so if you're enjoying it, please let me know by liking it. Thank you. And now we are moving on to the next part of the story, Pop Mart. Emerging entrepreneurs often focus heavily on selecting the right niche, because one niche is presumably more profitable than the other. However, Pop Mart serves a reminder that the main focus is not the niche itself, but the strategy behind it. Founded in 2010, Pop Mart is a Chinese toy company, specializing in toys and collectible figurines. And a toy store isn't particularly groundbreaking, right? Yet what sets Pop Mart apart is not the toys themselves, but the brilliance of their business strategy, which is based on several key components. Pop Mart stands out for its unique approach to operations. They're selling toys, right? So what is the core component for a company that is selling toys? When launching a new toy, the company prioritizes securing intellectual property rights for the design. This focus on design and intellectual property is central to their business model, ensuring that every product Pop Mart offers is one of a kind. To achieve this, Pop Mart actively seeks collaborations, scouting niche artists, and licensing existing characters. Instead of relying solely on in-house designs, they license established characters for blind box productions, reducing risk while maintaining creative diversity. Next part of the strategy. Let me ask you this. Who is the primary target audience for a toy company? The immediate answer is that toy companies produce toys for children, and the buying persona is their parents. But that's not the case with Pop Mart. Pop Mart's target audience consists of young people aged between 18 and 29, 75% of whom are women with considerable spending power. Pop Mart's products, especially blind box collectibles, are marketed as designer toys or art toys and collectibles rather than traditional children's toys. And another noteworthy aspect is that the company is making efforts to incorporate these designer toys into the world of fashion, creating a synergy here. We'll get back to this later. Next strategy component. The Chinese toy maker first gained popularity with its blind box concept. Basically, consumers buy unmarked boxes, and each try is quite affordable, costing from $10 to $30 for a chance at getting a unique figurine and building a collection. Now pair this with limited drops and chase figures, and you'll get obsessive collecting behavior. A CNN simulation found some buyers spend a whopping $2,000 to unbox a single rare Labubu. And of course, when there's a limitation on supply, some figurines become collectible status symbols. On eBay, the Pop Mart Labubu Vans collaboration is priced at around $10,000. And this is crucial. Every listing has several dozen bids, so it's not just some random crazy seller. People are willing to pay that amount. Now that we are familiar with these key strategic components, let's turn our attention back to 2019. In 2019, Pop Mart approached Lung to license Labubu and the Monsters tribe for blind box mass production. So they're launching this kind-hearted but clumsy character, and nothing happened. It wasn't really a disaster. Labubu was kind of popular. The boxes are selling well, though they're still far from causing a buyer frenzy. So what changed the story? The turning point that kind of set the stage for Labubu's viral success happened in 2023. So it all started with Pop Mart guys saying, well, we're popular in Asia, but we need to move beyond that. They were eager to test whether Labubu could appeal beyond hardcore collectors to casual consumers who value functionality. So they did an amazingly clever thing. they released Labubu as a keychain, moving away from the collectible figurines to wearables. And before scaling globally, Pop Mart tested mall kiosks and online drops for these products. In 2024, just before Labubu's breakout moment on the world stage, here's how things stand. Kasing Lung is continuing his lifelong passion, creating children's books and designing whimsical characters. He received notable recognition in his field, including awards and widespread admiration. Meanwhile, Pop Mart Labubu's blind boxes are gaining traction globally. They're also quite successful. Their annual revenue for 2023 was $890 million. At this point, Labubu and the Monster series represents almost 6% of total revenue. And their most successful line is Molly, representing 23% of total revenue. Little did they know that within a year, they would double their revenue, and Labubu would surpass Molly to become their top-grossing IP. Let's see how this happened. In April 2024, Blackpink's Lisa, the Thai K-pop star with 100 million followers, posted an Instagram story with a Labubu keychain. The rest is history. Her 100 million followers drove viral demand, especially in Southeast Asia and the West. But was that a beautifully crafted influencer campaign or a lucky coincidence? Lisa revealed all the details of her Labubu obsession to Vanity Fair. She said, "To be honest, I was not into it at all. I was like, no, I'm not gonna spend my money on this." However, after opening a few boxes and uncovering a series of rare figures, she was hooked. She later posted dozens of other Labubu pictures, and the whole campaign seems to be organic. Soon after the mention from Lisa, Rihanna and Kim Kardashian were spotted with similar Labubu charms, and David Beckham received a Labubu from his daughter. That provoked a surge of TikTok videos. The Labubu hashtag currently has over 5 billion views, and there are over 2 million Labubu-related videos showcasing the thrill of blind box openings or new combination of luxury bags and Labubu charms. Earlier in the video, we highlighted 3 major trends that contributed to Labubu's success. Now it's time for the 4th one. Pop Mart strategically turned the experience of buying and unboxing their products into a kind of game. Unboxing as a standalone video genre has been a key focus for the company since the beginning. That said, this doesn't mean they've shied away from influencer marketing. In fact, it remains the cornerstone of their promotional strategy. Aside from this, Pop Mart is capitalizing massively on FOMO, which stands for fear of missing out. Their strategy so far has been used by almost all fashion companies. In the Pop Mart case, they produce limited drops, for example shrimp tempura Labubu, and chase figures 1 in 72 rarity, making their customers obsessed about getting a rare figurine. The result of this craze? Pop Mart's revenue more than doubled in 2024, and for 2025 they've already beaten that. The brilliant marketing strategy of limited drops makes buying a Labubu feel like trying to win the lottery, but without the fun. For this video, I thought, why not treat myself to an authentic Labubu? Really savor the experience, you know? And spoiler, I did savor the experience, just not the one I expected. First, I went to the Pop Mart's website. No Labubus were in stock. Then I embarked on a pilgrimage to their official store in Amsterdam. Maybe there'd be a Labubu secret vault? Nope, wasn't there. No Labubus. Not one to give up easily, I expanded my search to Czechia, because why not cross borders for a plastic toy? There was no official Pop Mart store, but it turns out even if there is no official store, you can buy a real Labubu from resellers. On Pop Mart's website, the coveted Big Into Energy collection is a reasonable €20. But resellers? Oh no, darling. They'll graciously offer it to you for around 18 or 2000 Czech crowns, which is 75 to 80 euro. Yeah, so did I cave and buy it at this price? Of course. Of course not. Please. I live in the Netherlands. People are raiding bikes to avoid paying several euros on public transport. But here's what I did. I went to Dutch Craigslist, where people list used stuff, and I easily found the Labubu I wanted. I also purchased it with a buyer protection so that I could return it in case it's not authentic or the seller is dishonest. And it was slightly less overpriced as I ended up paying 40 euro. But let's discuss the marketing lessons first, and I'll show you what I got in the end of this video. So what do you think made Labubu go viral? Was it just luck? Well, I agree, luck always plays its part to a certain extent, but there is definitely more to it. Liz's endorsement was huge, no doubt, but Labubu's success wasn't some overnight miracle. The story behind it actually holds some solid lessons for businesses wanting to build impactful products. First off, this toy didn't just pop out of nowhere. The company behind Labubu was founded 10 years ago, releasing other types of toys, refining distribution, refining production way before Labubu even existed. When Labubu was launched, it didn't take off immediately. Those initial hard vinyl designs weren't connecting with people. The spark didn't really happen until 2023, when the designs were reimagined as plush toys, back charms, and key rings. That's the moment when sales took off. And Lisa didn't originally share a picture of a Labubu doll on Instagram. She shared a picture of her luxury bag with a Labubu back charm. Pop Mart also had a successful business model, pushing blind boxes, expanding into new regions, and a marketing strategy designed to support moments like this. It's all about setting yourself up, so when the luck strikes, you're ready to ride the moment. Here's what I learned from the story. If success doesn't come overnight, keep refining. Keep experimenting. You really never know when your big wave is going to hit. What's genius here is how they diversified their ideas and IPs into different formats. Like, a book is great, but putting the same concept into toys, charms, collectibles, that's where the magic happens. It increases the audience reach and makes it more fun to engage with. Even the design itself wasn't sacred. When the original version wasn't working, it was reimagined again and again to connect better with people. And that's a reminder, if something isn't hitting, don't be afraid to adapt. Next, unique naming. Total cheat code for searchability and recall. Kasing Lung gave Labubu a unique name so that it would stand out online. He literally said, if I called it Johnny, you'd see a million Johnnies popping up in Google search. When people type Labubu in the search bar of Google, they will show up. It's very clear. So naming that is fresh, unique, and specific is a smart move. Next, Pop Mart strategy. Labubu wasn't just a random product. It was part of a huge ecosystem they were building, which included blind boxes, limited drops, and very clever positioning aimed at women and collectors. So another lesson for me was, don't just think about what you're selling. Think about who you're selling it to, because your target audience is going to make a huge difference. Kasing Lung admitted, before working with Pop Mart, the fan base was 90% male, and they mostly collected the vinyl dolls. Pop Mart launched us in the Chinese market, and because of the plush doll keychains and other products, now 80% of the audiences are female. And finally, can we just sit back and appreciate Lung for a second? In a world full of AI hype and massive competition, he stayed authentic, turned his creativity into something massive, and became wildly successful. His journey is a reminder that even if you're not in the best spot right now, there's still plenty of room to grow and thrive. You might be just one step away from success, and you never know how far your story might take you. Her name is Luck, and I thought I could really use some. And now I'm gonna verify whether this doll is authentic. Here is a QR code from Pop Mart, and I'll scan it with my phone. What I got is this page, customer service, and there's a button, anti-counterfeiting verification. It already has the number.
And I just press verify. Verified is genuine. So what is it about this doll that makes it so likable? I would say the appeal lies in its quirky character. Have you noticed? It's not conventionally cute and not conventionally ugly. Maybe that's exactly the reason why it works. Because we seem to be moving away from the kind of polished characters. Those feel a little too safe these days. Also, it seems like she's an official passive-aggressive face. Look at that. She's silently judging you for watching the video about Labubu and me for producing it. But at the same time, it's weirdly relatable and funny and also beautifully crafted. And maybe that is the reason why people connect with it so much. It's less about perfection and more about personality. Honestly though, I think a Labubu craze might even be a low-key coping mechanism. Like with everything going on in the world right now, sometimes you just need something silly and a little odd to brighten up the chaos. Because life's getting harder, prices are up, jobs feel unsafe, and the news is just one crisis after another. So when everything feels overwhelming, something like Labubu gives people a tiny escape. It's cute, it's simple, and that little thrill of opening a blind box, for a second, it's just fun. No stress, no bad news, just a weird, fluffy little creature that makes you smile. In one of his interviews, Kasing Lung was asked a question: which of your characters would you love to bring to life? He replied with, "We live in the real world, where our everyday reality is sad. We need joy. If Labubu brings joy to people, then I would like for them to be alive." So maybe that's the true reason why Labubu has gone viral. Not because people are obsessed with plastic figures, but because we all need something to hold on to when the world feels like it's falling apart.